Hi there, everyone. Josh Rugger here in studio, providing a quick Weather Live update this morning. Going to be on here for about 10 to 15 minutes. Try to answer a couple questions as well. I'll tell you this: we're going to be talking about a couple things here. First of all, we got a great weekend coming up here in Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. You probably already heard about that. Going to have plenty of sunshine. Maybe some strong winds as well, but we'll take a messed up head of hair for some warm temperatures in the 80s for sure over the weekend, as well as plenty of sunshine. But that's also going to set the stage for some severe weather potential as we go throughout the early part of next week. And we're starting to get enough data in where I feel comfortable doing kind of a general weather live stream to give you an idea of what we're looking at for next week. It's still too early to get into specifics, to get into exact hazards or exact timing or exact locations, but kind of wanted to give you a general vibe of what we're looking at right now for that Monday night and Tuesday time frame. And yes, I said Monday night because the timing continues to shift quite a bit, and I'm sure it's going to be shifting even more as we progress throughout the weekend into the early part of next week. So without further ado, let's get to the graphics, the stuff that you guys want to see. I'm going to get my ugly mug out of the way there. And man, it's looking great right now in satellite radar. We got high pressure firmly in control over the midsection of the country. A few high clouds streaming in off to our west, but nothing major going on. Really from Texas all the way up to Minnesota and the Dakotas. I mean, it's looking great right now over a large part of the country, despite that low pressure system off to our north and east. But as always, we're keeping an eye on the West Coast, and we've got this powerful low pressure system starting to crank up. Imagine that. We're in springtime, so got another system that we've got to watch very closely. Already starting to see a pretty good amount of rain developing in northwestern California. Man, they're going to get hammered there in California and western Nevada from this low pressure system as it slowly ejects off to the south and east. And one thing I did this morning is kind of spilled out the timeline of the track of this low. You could see it's kind of slow moving right now. It will be slow moving as we progress throughout the weekend, which is why we're expecting a significant amount of precipitation in California and Nevada. But once it gets going through Arizona and New Mexico early Monday morning, man, oh man, is it going to crank up and eject off to the north and east? And that is going to lead to our severe weather potential as we move throughout late Monday night, but especially early Tuesday morning. And here's the deal, folks. This is a complicated weather pattern for Northwest Arkansas because this is about as classic as you can get for a Great Plains severe weather setup. What do I mean by the Great Plains? I mean northern Texas, Oklahoma, southern Kansas, those areas that you typically associate with Tornado Alley. They're really going to have to keep an eye on the storm system. There is still some uncertainty with it, obviously, in the Oklahoma area. A lot of things still to fine tune, but most systems have that, right? Most systems are going to have those uncertainties and those things that we've got to keep an eye on. But this one definitely has that look of a potential significant severe weather outbreak for our neighbors off to our west. Now, does that include Northwest Arkansas? That's the question we're going to try to answer as we go throughout the next few days, but certainly something they're going to be keeping a close eye on. Now, if you saw my Twitter post yesterday, I kind of explained negatively tilted troughs, and you're going to see that here on the jet stream pattern. That is for sure. Look at how tight that low pressure system is. This is what we call a bowling ball low pressure on these jet stream maps. That means the pressure gradient is very tight. It's very unstable on that eastern edge of that low pressure system, and it is swinging a lot of energy our way as we move throughout Monday into Tuesday. Now, you notice that system starting to eject off to the east. I'm going to go back here to Monday evening. Look at all that energy that's going on from the European model here across the Texas Panhandle into western Oklahoma, folks. That's bad news for those areas right there. This is something we're going to have to watch very closely for our neighbors off to our west. Just a classic severe weather setup there. You got that negative tilt to the trough, swinging that energy east, increasing those wind speeds dramatically in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. That low-level jet will also be kicking in during the evening hours. And this is why you're going to hear a lot of social media discussion about this, I'm sure, from not only us in the broadcasting realm of things, but also storm chasers. I know a lot of storm chasers are going to be out here in western Oklahoma and southern Kansas, as well as northern Texas, and we're going to be keeping a close eye on that. But here in northwest Arkansas in the River Valley, this system is going to start moving in late Monday night into Tuesday. Now, there's still that negative tilt to the trough, but one thing we got to keep an eye on, when do these thunderstorms go from supercells to a line of storms, and what impacts are we going to see in northwest Arkansas from these storms? Because here's the deal. We're going to have a lot of energy over our area as well. The issue is, are we going to have enough fuel? Are we going to have enough instability? Are we going to have all those ingredients in place that we need for more widespread severe weather here in northwest Arkansas? That's a little bit more uncertain compared to our neighbors off to the west, because we could have little pieces of energy swinging out ahead of that main line and that could kind of stabilize the atmosphere just a little bit. So something that we're going to be watching. The Storm Prediction Center obviously has enough confidence to put us in a severe weather risk. We're going to show that in just a minute. But one thing I also want to show you is that vorticity map. So we're going to go kind of advance in time here. I'll tell you what, even beyond Monday into Tuesday, we've got an active weather pattern next week as more pieces of energy try to swing into Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley Thursday and Friday as well. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get closer to both of those days. Right now, our main focus is on Monday night into Tuesday. Here's that vorticity map. This is measuring that level of spin in the atmosphere. Usually the wider the colors, the more energy you got. And folks, we've got a lot of energy coming our way. You can see that low pressure system right there early Monday morning across Arizona and New Mexico, swinging off to the east. Look at all of that energy that's going on there in the Oklahoma area, especially on the southern end of that trough of low pressure. Definitely got to keep a close eye on that there, but here it comes into Northwest Arkansas. Remember, those showers and thunderstorms develop ahead of that source of lift and that energy. So Tuesday morning, at least for the European model, it's showing quite a bit of energy off to our west and swinging into Northwest Arkansas, and that leads to widespread shower and storm development here in our area. So a lot of energy to work with, obviously, a very tight low pressure system. And, one thing I've noticed with this latest model run, maybe a trend a little farther south of that surface low. And that's an interesting trend because the farther south that surface low is, the more likely we are to see tornado potential closer to our area. So that's something to keep an eye on right there, because originally it was more it had a more northerly track into Nebraska and Iowa. Now you can see that center of the low near Wichita and just off to the west of Kansas City. So that is an interesting trend right there, and that's something that we need to watch very closely. I'm going to look at the comments just real quick, make sure we don't have any questions here. Oh, yeah, TGIF finally made it and cannot wait for the weekend. It is going to be absolutely amazing. I'll show you that weekend forecast after we get through all this severe weather talk. Hello from South Bend, Indiana. What's going on, G bro? Hey, I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, so if you're a Colts fan as well, we can give each other like a little fist bump right now. In fact, I'll give you a fist bump right now. Bam. Fist bump through the camera right there out in South Bend, Indiana. Home of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish out there as well. Love it. I'm kind of a Notre Dame fan myself, though. The Razorbacks are my number one team. Oh, Matthew Lowe asking for an autograph. Matthew, I might have to get your autograph first, actually, because you're like my number one storm chasing buddy besides Colby. You're all my storm chasing buddies. Same to you, Ryan. You're also my storm chasing buddy. Hope to see you guys out there, by the way, on Monday. If I just didn't already reveal that, I think I'm going to be heading out there Monday to Western Oklahoma. I was just talking about how you're going to hear a lot about storm chasers converging to Oklahoma and Kansas on Monday, and I'm probably going to be one of those folks. James, call those hogs. I was calling those hogs this morning. We had Big Red in the house. James, you can check out that video as well on my Twitter account and Facebook. We did a little hog call together. I love Big Red. He's my man. I feel like I'm the number one human hog fan, but he's the number one hog fan, if you catch my drift. So it was a lot of fun having him in studio. Nikita, it is so beautiful outside. My dogs, Riley and Chip, my favorite two dogs here at KNWA Fox 24. Enjoy the sunshine, and my dog, Riley, is playing in the water bowls outside. I bet they are both enjoying this wonderful weather, and they're really going to enjoy what we got coming up on Saturday and Sunday as well, Nikita. Roby, thanks, Josh, and thank you, Roby, for tuning in as well. Always love seeing you here interacting with our Facebook Lives during the morning and afternoon hours. And, hey, we're going to have a lot more of that as we move throughout the next couple of days and get you ready for all the latest severe weather details. All right, let's take a look at the storm system. Let's take a look at what the latest model information is showing. So you can see the European model. I mean, man, that is a powerful low-pressure system. That's bringing a lot of rain and snow to California and Nevada. As it ejects off to the east, it's going to swing that energy our way. You'll notice here on the European model, supercells developing right around 4 or 5 o'clock in western Oklahoma. Again, there's some uncertainty here. The models obviously are going to struggle, especially with the long-range models in terms of convective initiation. I will say this, there is a lot of cloud cover, at least high cloudiness showing up in Oklahoma. So this might limit the severe weather potential just a little bit. We'll see. Again, there's always limiting factors with any severe weather threat. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some morning convection in these locations, which is why I think I'm targeting more northwestern Oklahoma, southern Kansas right now in terms of storm chasing. But we'll see how that evolves over the next couple of days. But you'll notice showers and storms continuing throughout the evening. The low-level jet really kicks in over western Oklahoma at this point. But northwest Arkansas getting a lot of convection out ahead of this piece of energy, and it makes sense. these storms could still be strong, but are they going to have that higher end significant severe weather potential? If this model verifies, probably not for Northwest Arkansas. But again, it's a long ways out, and eventually that line of storms is going to make its way through here. Notice Tuesday morning, this timing gets later and later, folks. The progression of the system is a little bit slower compared to previous model runs. So this means that the system may come through Tuesday morning, and if it does, it's going to bring a line of showers and storms to our area. If we do have that convection move through Monday night into Tuesday morning, that will pose an all hazards risk. This line of storms will pose more of a damaging wind threat, but still can't rule out some QLCS spin-ups, and that system will swing off to the east relatively quickly. I don't think the flash flooding potential is going to be all that high with this storm system with that negative tilt and trough. Now, the GFS model has a little bit more of a significant severe weather setup over Northwest Arkansas. The reasoning behind that is these showers and storms develop and get going a little bit farther east quicker. And so we have the better parameters in Northwest Arkansas at this point, and that would lead to a little bit more of a QLCS tornado potential, maybe a higher end damaging wind potential as well. So we'll have to watch that very closely. Notice those showers and storms maybe continuing through early Tuesday afternoon, maybe some stratiform rain on the backside of that system, especially if that low pressure is a little bit farther south. And notice the GFS a little bit farther north with that main low pressure system. So that is certainly something we'll watch very closely. But the GFS starting to get a little more aggressive. It was not as aggressive as the European, but it's starting to kind of move towards that trend rather than being a little bit less aggressive and being an outlier. So you typically see that with the models at this range. You also typically see a pump fake, which I think it's trying to do, at least in the Europeans' case, in terms of that severe weather potential out west. But again, a lot of things still to fine tune. We've got high resolution data that we've got to attend to. But of course, you want to know that severe weather potential. This is the day 4 convective outlook. Now, remember, we only get one update per day, 3+ days out. So tomorrow, you're only going to get one update on this severe weather risk. You're not going to get specific severe weather threats as well. But the day 4 convective outlook certainly has a bullseye for significant severe weather potential in portions of central Oklahoma, western Oklahoma, northern Texas, and southern portions of Kansas. This is where the best parameters are going to coincide for that all-hazard severe weather threat. Now, you notice that slight risk expands farther north and east as well and includes portions of Northwest Arkansas. Now, here's the deal, folks. I'm going to zoom in closer here because remember, the majority of the showers and thunderstorms that are moving through Northwest Arkansas are going to move through during the overnight hours Monday through Tuesday, early afternoon potentially. So one thing that I am going to caution you on when it comes to the next several days and when it comes to the messaging of this particular storm system is that we are very likely to be in between severe weather risk because you have that day 4 convective outlook, which ends, Monday night right around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then the next day, Tuesday, that's the day 5 convective outlook that you're seeing right now. So when we get closer to this event, you're seeing Northwest Arkansas and a slight risk of severe weather, right? The gradients are very tight between the slight risk and the potential enhanced risk that's going to be out west. And I don't want the camera to keep moving, so I'm going to move it back here. You're going to probably see that happen for the day 5 risk where we're on the edge of the slight risk and the enhanced risk is a little bit farther east if there's an enhanced risk. You see what I'm saying? So there could be the potential that we're in between severe weather risk as we move throughout that Monday to Tuesday timeframe because of the timing of the system. Now, obviously, I think the storms that move through Monday night, or at least earlier on in the overnight hours, those will have the greatest threat to produce an all hazards severe weather outbreak. That means tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. But as we progress throughout the night, as we progress throughout the early morning hours Tuesday, the dynamics of the atmosphere, the parameters, they favor more of a damaging straight line wind threat with the occasional QLCS spin up. Not going to say that we won't have any tornado potential on Tuesday because we certainly will have tornado potential, especially in far eastern portions of our weather coverage area on Tuesday. But the main tornado threat at this time looks like it's going to be in central and western Oklahoma as well as southwestern Kansas with this particular storm system. So that's something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Again, it's a little bit too early to get into specific timings. specific risk. Like I said, we're going to have a better idea of that as we head throughout the weekend. I think by the day 2 convective outlook, you're going to have a lot of high-resolution data in. We're going to have a much better idea of what we're going to see here in Northwest Arkansas in terms of the timing, because I could see a lot of possibilities with the system. I still think with the negative tilt to the trough, there is going to be the potential that we have showers and thunderstorms Monday late afternoon, early evening in portions of Northwest Arkansas. Now that's on the that right there would be the outlier, right? But there's always that possibility with a negative tilt to the trough. The most likely time frame is going to be Monday after midnight. If I were to give you a preliminary timing, Monday after midnight through noon on Tuesday. I know that's a big time range, but it's more likely that we see these showers and storms move through our area after midnight. So that's just something to be aware of. Of course, Dan's going to be here, Peyton, Zach, they're all going to be here watching things very closely late this afternoon to the evening. I think Peyton's actually going to be in during the weekend, so he'll likely have some weather live streams for you. Of course, I'll have a weather live stream Monday morning with the latest details, and by that point, we're going to have a very good idea of what's going to go down with this particular storm system. So, again, we're going to be watching all this very closely. We're going to keep you safe. We're going to keep you posted, and we'll let you know if there's any changes to the severe weather outlook, because I do anticipate with this day 5 outlook, there's going to be an area that's under an enhanced risk of severe weather tomorrow. I don't necessarily think it's going to be over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, looking at the latest model data, but still something that we've got to watch very closely, because there's always that potential that the system shifts a little bit farther east, and we do get that higher end severe weather threat. So, in lighter news, this weekend is going to be great. We got the red-white game coming up on a Saturday afternoon. So tomorrow afternoon, starting at 12 o'clock p.m. I know a lot of folks are going to be out at Hogtown at 9 a.m. Temperatures looking great. Highs going to be in the lower 80s. I mean, that's immaculate Woo Pig vibes right there. Big Red approved weather as well for the game itself. So everybody get out there and enjoy it. Just make sure you're holding on to your hog hats. We got those southerly winds between 15 to 30 miles per hour. Should be interesting to see how far of a field goal we can kick out there on Saturday afternoon. And, of course, Sunday looking great as well with high temperatures in the middle 80s. I'll show that 7-day forecast here real quick, and then we'll wrap things up. See, Haley just commented here, man, oh, man, Josh, how was the eclipse? It was amazing here east of Indianapolis. Haley, it was just this is the most stunning thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I'm ever going to see anything as incredible or breathtaking as that. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It lived up to the hype and then some. You know how sometimes people can say, this is going to be hype, this is going to be great. No, this was even beyond that, which is unbelievable, because Dan had been telling me about it for months now, and it blew all of my expectations out of the water. And, I might be an eclipse chaser now. I know we're not going to have another one until we get into 2020, not 2020, 2045 in Arkansas. But I might have to chase another one maybe in another country, because I just love eclipses so much now. I'm obsessed with them. And just an absolutely stunning scene, absolutely breathtaking. And you chase that center line as well. Okay, you got about 4 minutes of totality. That's awesome. I went out east to Mountain View, Arkansas. I got 4 minutes of totality as well. So, man, you could definitely tell who was in totality and who was not in totality, Haley, because you look at the comments, some folks are like, that was kind of underwhelming. They weren't in totality. It was totality or bust. If you weren't in totality, you did not get the full experience. And you know what? You'll get another chance in 2045, at least here in the state of Arkansas, to give it another shot. And I highly recommend you do that if at all possible. But in terms of our 7-day forecast, and then we'll wrap it up here, we're talking about increased winds over the weekend. That's going to be the top story. Wind advisories likely to be issued, especially Sunday afternoon. 40% chance of showers and storms on Monday. So I did adjust the precipitation chances quite a bit. I'm leaning more towards Monday overnight to Tuesday personally. So that's why we got that 60% chance of rain now for Tuesday. Another storm system moves through for the latter half of next week. Unknown how much severe weather potential that's going to bring with it, because obviously the storm system moving through could have an impact on that. So right now, 30% chance of rain for Thursday. We'll keep you posted, but check out those temperatures. Staying in the middle to upper 80s, even behind that storm system on Tuesday. Very windy conditions expected Tuesday afternoon between 20 to 40 miles per hour. 60% chance of rain in the River Valley, with overnight lows generally in the middle to upper 60s. So that's a 7-day forecast. It's going to be very active next week, but Monday night to Tuesday looks like the main event of the week in terms of severe weather potential. And of course, we'll be watching it very closely. And hey, you might see a live stream for me out there with Colby Ward, the hashtag Colby effect. I don't know if we're going to see much with old Colby out there, but still something that's going to be very exciting. Of course, my lighting went out, so that's why you're kind of seeing me in this view. But I definitely appreciate everybody who came out. We got over 250 people on here today, which is quite a bit for midday on a Friday. So I really appreciate you guys spending your lunchtime with me. Again, Dan, Peyton, Zach, going to be watching this very closely over the weekend. Of course, I'll be watching it very closely as well. But I believe Peyton is going to have your live streams over the weekend and have your latest information. I'll be here Monday morning with the day one convective outlook. We'll have a much better idea of what's going on by then, and we'll be here to answer your questions and keep you safe during this severe weather event. But just make sure you got multiple ways to receive warnings. Already getting that preparedness planning in place just in case. Obviously, the system could be coming through during the overnight hours on Monday, so that can kind of throw a wrench into things. Nikita had one comment here. What time is the storm coming in on Monday? Because my dog rally. So, Nikita, right now, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of thunderstorms during the day on Monday. I'd be very surprised if that timing shifted that early. I think the main shower and storm development is going to be while you're sleeping Monday night into Tuesday morning. So that's why we're going to be watching it very closely and keeping you safe. All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the wonderful weather this weekend. God bless all of you, and we will see you next time and keep you here with your Weather Authority.